Hello, everyone. My name is Rob Lifson. Thank you for joining us today here for our webinar, Lightspeed Trader 101, Introduction to the Platform. We like to provide certain educational resources and provide some education to our customers or potential clients to provide you some training on our software and give you some assistance with getting started and learning how to use the software. So we try to run these type of presentations weekly or at least a couple times a month, certain topics on our platform, other platforms that we offer, and sometimes some trading strategies from educators or market commentators. So, we certainly try to give our audience, some additional resources. Before we get started, we just have a quick disclaimer here. Please note this presentation is for informational purposes only. Nothing presented today should be construed as investment advice or recommendation to buy, sell, or hold any security or contract. Since we don't know everyone's investment objective or risk tolerance, we are not endorsing any specific trading strategy. Security-driven futures trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Each investor must consider whether this is suitable investment, since you may lose all or more than your initial investment. Past performance is not indicative of future results. We do have our full disclosures and disclaimers on our website and also on our new account application. So always be sure to review those, read those, and make sure that day trading is suitable for you. Lightspeed is a division of Line Brokerage LLC. Line Brokerage LLC is not affiliated with any third-party market commentators, educators, or service providers. Data, information, and material are provided for informational, educational purposes only. Content should neither be construed as an offer, solicitation, or recommendation to buy or sell any securities contracts. Any investment decisions made by the user through the use of such content is solely based on the user's independent analysis, taking into consideration your financial circumstances, investment objectives, and risk tolerance. Line Brokerage LLC does not endorse, offer, nor recommend any of the services or commentary provided by any of the market commentators, educators, or service providers. Any information used to execute any trading strategies solely based on the independent analysis of the user. Okay, thank you very much. And certainly for more information on a demo or trading platform, open an account, you certainly can contact myself, Rob Lifson, R. Lifson at Line Brokerage. You can email sales@lightspeed.com, and certainly feel free to call into the office as well. You can always request a demo of this platform through the Lightspeed website. You can test out and enter simulation trades and orders, manage positions, and test out the full features and functionality of the software while trading in the demo environment. So I'm going to go over some of the basics of the software here, show you some of the windows, the features, and the functions, and just go over some of the ways to get started and how to increase some of your efficiency, show you some of the settings and the tips and tricks, how to use the software. And certainly when we have some time at the end, feel free to ask some questions. You can ask them as we go. If it relates to the material, I'll certainly try to answer. If otherwise, I'll try to get to all questions by the end of the presentation. So I thank you guys for joining, and we will get started. So as you see, I have the Lightspeed software attached to the screen here. You can see I have a level 2 window here for Amazon. We'll give you the bids and offers, the indications of interest here, the best bid and the best offer, and multiple prices from each exchange you can view. We do provide our standard level 1 package, or we do provide additional level 2 quotes, so you can subscribe to many different levels of data services that we offer. Below that, we do have a chart. We see you have a different time frames available, daily, weekly, 1 minute. You can add additional time frames as well. We'll go into that further. We have our order entry ticket in the middle. You can see I have my symbol. You have your order type, limit, market, stop, open on close, and we have different order types, pegged orders, different routes available, different strategies available. So we offer a wide range of order types and order routing. In addition to the order type, you can select your market destination. You can use the Lightspeed Smart Route, or you can use other order destinations to try to access additional sources of liquidity. We do have a full routing table of fees and also the availability for rebates available on the Lightspeed website. So you can view the cost or the rebate that would be applied for using each of these venues that you're sending the orders through. On my top left, I have an orders window. This will display any open, executed, or canceled orders. And then I also have my positions window, which would display your open positions or any closed positions, along with your intraday profit and loss, and any open or closed profit and loss as well. Additional window on the side here would be my messages window. This will show any type of communication between the software and your functionality. Initially, when you log in, you'll see your connections available. If you lose connection, it will also display in your messages window. Anytime you place an order, it will also display in the messages. If that gets rejected for some reason, you will get a message there as well. And will also provide you updates on orders being executed or canceled. So you should always have this window open to display the different scenarios and messages back and forth. I have a watch list here in the middle. This is where you can view your own selected list of symbols, and you can view additional data here as well. I'll get into this window a little bit more, and every window a little bit more as well. And then I have a risers and fallers window. It's kind of set here for you to show your top risers and fallers and your most actives, all set for different filters and functionality. So we'll go over that. And then you could also see I have a series of hot buttons. These are ways to customize specific orders to be able to place them with a one click without having to adjust your order entry. So we will go over each of these windows and some of the features and functions and show you how to get started. So you can see immediately, we'll just go through some orders. And also quickly just go over the settings menu before that. If you go into the utilities menu and you go into the settings, this is where you can access the master settings window. You can see there's different sub tabs for different categories. So if I want to create alerts or custom orders or configure design or go over my hotkeys and other items, everything can be accessed from the settings menu. If I want to set certain defaults or certain display functionality, everything is accessed through the settings. You can also see there's a gear on each specific window, and if you click that, that will bring you to the settings box that correlates to that specific window. So I have the market maker quote box, that brings me to the market maker quote settings. If I click on my hot button settings, that brings me to my hot buttons window. So each specific settings box will bring you to the matching settings tab for that window. Okay, so let's just go over some of the basic order entry, and we'll go through a series of scenarios for orders and then go from there. Let's go to something. Okay, we'll check out Netflix here. We can see we have bid and offer, and I have my order entry. I can simply use my mouse wheel to scroll. I can also click on any price, my level 2, that updates the price if you see. So if I want to buy 100 shares, I can do so. If I place an order, I can choose to have my confirmation, or I can have that order go in direct. It is a good idea when you're first getting used to the platform to have your confirmation. This will show you the details of your order before you place them, and you will confirm it. So you can see I'm buying 100 shares, NFLX, price at 274.75, good for the day, and it also tells me my buying power requirement. If I confirm it, I hit yes. We can see the order then goes into my orders box. It's an open order indicated as white. You can see 0 out of 100, so it has not been filled yet. And then you can also see my messages window here, buying 100 shares as well. So that indicates that's an open order as well. Now I can right click on this order to cancel or modify or even just increase or decrease this here. Or I could click on the X on the side of the box to cancel the order as well. If I cancel the order, you can see that turns red, still indicates 0 out of 100 in my quantity fields. And I also receive a URL message on my messages box that indicates that the order is canceled. It does not mean that a position is closed. So anytime you see a URL message, that only indicates to an order being accepted as canceled and you got your cancel message back. So if I want to do something more marketable, we can see the last trade was 275. So I'm going to adjust my limit price to that price. And we can hit the buy button once again as a limit, 275. And you can see now this order executed. It turned green, 100 out of 100 in the quantity window. And now we see a 100 share position in my positions window. We see the price that I purchased, 275. The last price of the stock was 275 as well. And then you can also see my intraday P&L. So this is going off of the bid or offer. If I immediately were to sell, it would go to the bid at 274.90. That is why I'm getting a loss currently, because if I had the open position, I would sell to the bid. In the same manner, I can place an order to close out the position. I simply have to place the sell for the same amount of shares, and I hit yes. You can see that will put an open order to sell. However, there are other ways you can close out the position, excuse me. If I right click on my positions, I get a menu for closing out. I could close out a full position. I could close out a portion of this position simply by right clicking on the position itself. So I can close out the full or portion of, if I have multiple positions, I can close that as well. Or I could have my hotkeys or hot buttons configured for closeouts. So there's a lot of different ways you can do so. Now, if I were just to modify this order, I can modify this to a market order, or I could change my limit price to something more marketable. I hit modify, I say yes, and now I immediately close the position. You can see sold 100 out of 100. It actually executed at the same price, so there was no profit or loss. And you can see now my position is grayed out. There's 0 in the positions window. So for your standard order entry, it's pretty basic. You're using your order entry form, using your orders and your positions window. If something we're trading a little more actively, unfortunately, this is a demo on the post market where it's not as actively trading. But let's see, maybe the SPY will give us a little more action. I'll try it again. I'll buy 100 shares, and then we can see kind of the change in profit and loss based on how this stock is moving a little bit. So what you're able to do here as well would be to close out your position or configure your order entry through your hot buttons window. You can see these are labeled here to either buy or sell at the market. You can see my second set would be to close out an entire position or even close out half a position. So the hot buttons override your order entry window and allow you to place orders based on those parameters of your assigned hot buttons rather than using your order entry window. So let's just say I want to close out half a position. I can do so by hitting the button there. This type of order doesn't do odd lots, so I would have to close out a full position or use my own. So if I did my closeout all, you can see it's going to sell 100 shares. You can see it closed out the position, and I took a $6 loss. So we can see in my orders window, I purchased at 265.10, and then I sold at 265.04. So I had a $6 loss on that transaction. I have a window that was actually being covered up. You can see I have my account summary window as well here. This will show you your marked P&L, to show you your buying power and your balance as well, pending orders, shares traded. So the account summary window is valuable as well to keep track of positions and orders as well. So once again, you can take a look. I have a limit for 100 shares on my order entry, but if I use my hot button, I could buy 100 at the market. So you can easily place orders through a one click to bypass having to adjust your order price, your share size, or your order type, your order destination. You could have these all set with your hot buttons window. So then you could see if I have my closeout half button, that would work for 100 shares. So I sold half the position, 100 shares, leaving me with $2 loss of open profit, and I have a closed loss here. And then you can see my marked as a combination of my open and closed profit and loss. To enable your hot buttons, if I go to the hot buttons menu, we do have a defined list of categories where you can assign as hot buttons. You can have your different routes and order types configured. You have your bidder offer, buy or sell at the market for ARCA, LSPT, BATS, Edge, NASDAQ, and even stop orders, so open and close. All these can be assigned as buttons simply by selecting the order and adding it to your hot button window. I can also configure the button itself, changing a color if desired, or changing the font as well. So you can really separate these. Now we can see this has generated a pop-up order. There's a lot of different ways to configure your hot buttons. A bid order is not actionable. It just queues up an order to buy at the bid. So that then allows me to either place this order, or I can modify it with my keyboard functionality. The right or left arrow allows me to change it. I can even change my share size by using the number pad, and I can even change my routes through my up and down arrow. So I can easily modify a queued up order. So a bid order, I hit enter to execute, escape will cancel. Now see, that's a bid tier. If I want to do a buy tier, that's an actionable order. So if I place my buy tier order, you see that's buying 100 at the offer. So that's the difference between a bid tier and a buy tier. A bid queues up a buy at the bid. A buy actually is going to queue up an actionable order to be placed. And if you see, I have my next set of hot buttons is your closeouts. So you can see in your menu here, we have a full list of closeout entire positions, buy or sell, full, closeout, market on open and close. So these are all predefined. You don't even have to create them yourself. Simply have to click and map and add them over. We have miscellaneous size orders. I could increase or decrease open orders. I can show you one of those as well. So let's say increase in order 1 dime. I'll add that. I'll hit OK. I have an open order to buy at 72 cents. I hit my increase 1 dime. You can see that's going to replace that order from 72 to 82. And if I don't have my confirmations, that's going to be an immediate change. So it's a very fast way to modify orders. Now I also have cancel orders as well. You can see the different cancel selections here. We have a full selection of cancels, cancel first order, last order, all for one stock, all for all symbols, your first, all your buys, your sells. So there's a whole different combination of different orders as well. So let's say I want to place a series of orders here. Now, if I want to cancel my first order, you can see that canceled the first one. I cancel my last order, that canceled the last one. Cancel all, cancels all my orders. So there's a lot of different combinations you can do to really increase your efficiency and increase your speed. Now, any of these orders that you've assigned here as your hotkey can also be assigned, as a hot button can be assigned as a hotkey. So I just have to go into my keyboard tab and I can assign any order here to the keyboard. I simply select it and I'm going to map it. So if you see, this one is buy 100 market, control 1, the S1, the C1, the S1 will be the shift 1, that's my sell 100. And then I have my control 5 for buy 500. So regardless of my order entry, once again, I hit my control 5, you see I'm buying 500 shares. So it's another way to bypass your order form and have predefined orders created. So you can assign, as we did for the keyboard, any predefined order. We have the same list of menu selections in your drop down, close out, entire position. We have your size orders, close out all, half, longs. We even can change order size. You can increase or decrease your open orders, your order entry window. There's a lot of different ways to set up orders here and hotkeys. The greatest thing about this as well is the ability to do your custom commands. So if you find that the menu selections that we provide are not exactly what you're looking for, if I go into my custom orders tab, this is how you would create new custom orders. I select to create new command, and that will bring me to an order template that allows you to set your own parameters for your custom orders. We'll do some quick examples. See from left to right, I'm going to choose buy. I can choose the Lightspeed Smart Route. I have my instruction. This could be a limit. It could be a stop order, trailing stop. I can buy in the bid. I can buy in the ask. I can buy or sell based on position price, or even just buy or sell at the market. I can even put an offset on here as well to have an aggressive through amount or a passive through amount. So let's just say I want to be a little more aggressive, and then I'd set my quantity box here. So if I wanted an order for 300 shares, you can see this can be split up into a without position to close and with position to close. One would be an opening transaction, one is a closing transaction. For this example only, it's going to be an opening buy to open 300 shares. So I'm setting my closing position to 0. And I'm just going to label this buy 300 ask 03. And I can map this to a key, or I can map it to a hot button. Simply going to 300 shares, I'm going to map it to control 3. I highlight my order, I highlight the control 3, and I map. Okay, we're going to change symbols here. I'm going to hit control 3, and you can see I'm buying 300 shares. The ask is 670. My order is going for 6.73, 3 cents above the offer, exactly how it was defined on my custom order. I hit yes. We can see the aggressive order goes in. I still got the best price available at 670, but the offset allows you to be a little bit more aggressive depending on how much you really want the stock and how much you're willing to pay. Other examples of your custom orders would be closeouts. So if I go from left to right, I'm going to do a sell LSPT. I'm going to close this out at the market because I really want to exit a position. Then I could choose to close out either based on a full position, half position, or quarter position. For this example, we're just going to do a full position, and then I'm going to set the bottom quantity to 0. So I'm not going to sell short to open. This is only going to be a sell to close. So this is sell full position. I can map this, shift 0 to sell, or I can also just create anything as a hot button as well. So we have my GE here. I hit my shift 0. I'm selling my 300 shares at the market. Very easy way to set up different key combinations to allow you to set different variations for your orders. And once again, I can remove my confirmations. These are for a demonstration, but if I go into my trading menu under confirms, I can get rid of my confirm new orders. I could get rid of my confirmed changes and order cancels. So I don't need these additional orders. So if I want to one by one, I'm hitting that and it's buying and selling, shift 1, control 1, those orders are going in immediately. Same thing with my hot button. I just have to click to add or close a position. Very fast, easy way to manage your open orders and positions. There's no delay. If you see how fast those market orders go in, even though this is a demo, that's how fast those orders are going to get entered, and a market order is going to execute immediately. limit orders will get filled as they are required to do so based on the time and price and size of the order and corresponding orders in the market. Okay, I'm going to take one breath here, get a sip of water. Who has some questions for me based on the order entry on your hot buttons or custom orders? Good question. Ben asked, how do you change some defaults on your order entry window? If you click on the settings gear in your order entry, that will bring you to different commands. So if I go into my login box tab here, this is what will be defaulted when I first log in to the software. So I can change it to NASDAQ at 500 as my initial login. And if I want to change it, when I change symbols, I can also change that. Let's say NASDAQ, and we'll say 500 as well. So I could change my default, my order types as well. So you see right now, GE 100. If I click on BAC, I'm sorry, it has to be under the mouse selection. So I'll change my quantity to 500. So if I go back to Facebook, you can see now, sorry, now it's going back to 5. See, 500 and is my now default here. Yep, this recording is going to be available on our website within a few days. So I know I've going a little fast. So certainly you'll be able to replay it. And if you do have questions, you can certainly call or email us. You can view some of our other short videos on how to set custom orders and assign them as hotkeys on the website as well. So we don't have a 3/4 closeout position. We just have half, quarter, or full position. We do have a closeout all 75%, but that's going to close out all your positions. So that's the only thing that would be available. Closeout long 75, closeout short 75, closeout 75, but that relates to all positions. The default package will provide you with a news feed as well. So you can see, I just have to click on any of the headlines to get it. Now I can have my news set for all news, or I can just have it set for anything that relates to the symbol that I'm looking at. So if I change it to news for quote, I change this to GE, you can see I'm only going to get headlines for GE or for that symbol that I'm looking at here. You would always have to enter a route either on your order entry form or on your custom orders. You have to default something. You are able to do on your custom orders just a primary market that will send New York listed stocks to the New York Exchange and NASDAQ to the NASDAQ Exchange. So if you don't want to enter one, the primary market will allow you to have that defaulted. Otherwise, the LSPT route is a good route, but if you are looking to capture liquidity, you want to use ARCA, NASDAQ, BATS, or EDGE. So you can set up different order combinations, different routes based on how they're going to interact and qualify. We have the ability for you to set certain limits and warnings as well. If you go into your trading menu, you can go into your warnings tab. If a size is too large, so I can get a warning not to allow me to trade more than 1,000 shares, or just not allow me to trade at all. So either I can get a warning or not allow. So if I set 1,000 share warning and I place an order for 1,000 shares, that's when I get a warning. This is exceeding my defined limits. Do you wish to place this order? Now, if you have other warnings or limits you want to set, you can contact our trade desk or service desk to have certain max loss limits placed, to have parameters placed for max position size, max open value, and other parameters as well. So you certainly can do that. Okay, I'll go over the custom order and the with position to close and without position to close. So I'm going to have here an order with position to close is allowing you to close out your position. I'm going to set this as a full position closeout. So if I have a position, this is going to sell it at the market. Now, what I can also have this set up to do would be sell short to open if I wanted it to. So let's say I wanted this to also be a sell short 500 shares. So we can see this could be a 2 combination key. One is to close out, one is to sell short to open. So you can really do that if you wanted to. So if I added this as a button here, so let's see, I have 700 SPY. If I hit my sell close, it's sold to 700 shares. Now I have no position. So if I do place this order again, it's not going to sell to close. It's going to sell short to 500. So you can see one order can operate in 2 different parameters based on your custom orders. It's a little confusing, and I typically recommend people, especially new to the software, to only do one of the 2 parameters. Either you're going to do a sell to close or you're going to do it as a sell short to open. It really gets a little confusing if you're mixing the 2 together. The only way that I do would be if you would put in the same share size on both. So you just know this is a buy 500 to ask. Either you're short and you want to buy to cover, or you're long or you're flat and you're buying to open. So you can see in this scenario, I have 500 shares. I hit buy 500 ask, it close it. I can buy another 500 to open. So it really depends on your position and the with position or without position to close. Okay, let's quickly go over some of the chart aspects here. If I open this chart a little bit wider, we're just going to go over here. So I can right click. If I go into my chart parameters, this will allow you to select different time frames that you wish to view. I can change that to 2 minute or 5 minute. If I want to add this as a separate chart, I could select it. I click add. That's going to add an additional tab at the bottom. You can now see I have a 5-minute tab, so I can easily go between. I can also right click and go into my trading menu. This allows me to show active orders or show positions. My position line, I could have it solid or dashed here. So you can see I do have a position right now, 1,500 shares in SPY. If I wanted to place an order to sell, you can see this red line now appears on my chart selling the 500 shares. I could click or drag that order open up or down. So you can modify and manage your orders and positions from the chart as well. If I right click, I go into studies. You can see I can add or remove different trend lines. These are from previous day. If I select I want a simple moving average, I simply set my parameter, say a 20 period. I click add. You can see that applies the study to the chart. Very easy. If I want to put a VWAP in there, I click add. Once again, that adds that study to the chart. So it's very easy to add those studies. If I want to change my display, there's certain tabs. I can show labels. I can show different parameters here. I can increase my size if I want to have a little more size to the right. You can see there's also executions here. Another parameter you can show would be your full time frame. Now, this is only market hours only, or I can shift to 8 a.m., 6 p.m., or I could show our full hours. So you can see the highlighted shaded area would be our post-market charting. Unfortunately, Paul, you wouldn't be able to archive charts. So unfortunately, you either would have to save it in a separate layout or a separate page. One key aspect here that I didn't really cover was just opening additional windows and menus. So if you go into the new menu, you can open any additional window through the new menu. If I want additional level 2 windows or an additional chart, that's where I would open it, right from that new menu. I can also create new pages within one layout. So if I want to quickly flip to a page that has charts to view some charts, I could easily flip to a new page. I can save previous layouts. I can load layouts as well. And then we also have predefined layouts. So if I want to load something that's saved, I can do so very easily. And you can see I could transfer it right to a new layout here, or go back to our predefined layouts. So you can shift and have different pages or layouts for options, for scans. So on the chart here, just a couple more questions. If I right click, I can go into lines. This is where I can draw a ray, extended, or a segment or horizontal line very easily. So if I wanted a horizontal line, I could do so. I could right click to lines and then delete it. If I want to instead select a ray, that's going to go from one endpoint to the end of the screen. If I right click, I go into lines, extended. That's going to be from the full range from left to right, and you could draw your trends. Now, another way to do a shortcut is to hold the Alt button on the keyboard and then left click. So I don't have to use my right click menu. I just have to hold the Alt button down and left click. Now, another key aspect is the linking. If I want to open an additional window, I go into my new level 2, and let's say I want to have one symbol selected to one chart and one chart selected to another symbol. So I'm going to put in the diamond here. I'm going to right click on my chart on the top border. I go into link. I'm going to choose which level 2 quote window I want to link to. I'm having my first one to the SPY, and I'm going to have my second one to the DIA. So you can see if I change symbols now, only my chart number 1 will update. If I change symbols in my second one, only my second chart will update. And you can do the same thing with another order entry window. So I could only have this one set for GE. So now if I change symbols here, you can see this order entry updates, and this order entry is going to update if I change symbols here. Okay, to go over the watch list settings quickly here, so you can add additional symbols right in the watch list. You can see I add symbols. If I click on the settings, I can add or remove symbols here as well. I can also add different data categories. We can see volume percentage, 30-day, volume change, 30-day average volume. Simply have to click and add that data. We also have other menu selections. If I change that, you can see percentage high, percentage change from the low, percentage gap. So there's a lot of different data categories available here as well. And then you can see that just adds additional data, and you can sort by these particular categories. So I have a question about the layout for multiple monitors. You simply just have to drag a window to your next monitor. Each individual window can be resized, and you can use it for as many monitors as you have it. When you save your layout, those windows are going to save exactly where you last left them on each individual monitor. So you can spread the layout over multiple windows. You just have to just keep opening new windows and selecting and configuring them. All right, going to go into another layout here. We can see this is for a larger monitor screen, my layout 3, but I want to show you some of the options available here for options trading. We can see in the middle would be my option chain. Down here is my option level 2. So if I click on a contract, you can see I have the calls on the left and the puts on the right. You can populate your option level 2 link to your option chain. And just like your stock, I can choose to select my order type, limit market stop, my quantity and my price, press that buy button, and I can place orders directly for options as well. You also have a complex options order entry form where I can highlight more than one contract. I can add that strategy, and then I can place a spread order as well. I can buy and sell. You can see I'm paying, receiving, and there's also a risk chart here based on the price. The price goes up, I'm going to reach my maximum profit up till 24.50. That's my max profit. If the stock goes down, my max loss would be capped at $24. So this gives you a little bit of assistance with seeing your max loss here as well. Same thing with just a one-sided contract. The higher it goes, the more valuable my call would be, down to a certain point where my max loss is capped, which would be the price I'm paying minus the strike price. So if the symbol goes below, the stock goes below my strike, I'm going to lose the full payment, $64. So it kind of helps you with your complex orders and even just your single leg orders. And you can add up to 4 legs on your complex strategy window order entry here as well. You can create custom commands and hot buttons and hotkeys for options as well. You go into the option level 2 and you can select your parameters to buy or sell different contracts or closeouts, and you can either send them to an order ticket or send to market. And you can also create these as a hot button. So if I just wanted a buy to 5 to open at the market, I can have that as a hot command, or I can have this as a hot button very easily. Go into my hot buttons window, add, and you can see now I have an order to buy 5 contracts. Same way, it's going to bypass my parameters on my option level 2 and go in based on my command parameters. So once again, really the platform is very easy to customize. The ability to manage your orders and your positions would be the strength of the platform, and the speed of execution and the ability for very fast data and order entry. So you can see right now my SPY position, it's growing quite a bit here. I have a $100 open P&L. We have a close 176, and it shows you your marked profit and loss as well. If I want to close out my full position, I still have my control 0 mapped. It looks like not on this layout. It reset. But I simply could right click, close out 100%, and you can see now I captured. So there's always more than one way to close out the position. You have your hotkeys or hot buttons, you have your order entry window, or you can just right click on the position. So you should always have an additional manner to close out positions. We do have some scanners as well. If I go into my new menu, we do have the risers and fallers window. So that is going to show you what's up or down the highest on the day here. So if I click on, you can see the parameters. UGAZ is down 16%. I can right click to filter. If I want to see stocks that are $10, $3 to $10, I can do so as well. So we can see FNGZ is the biggest loser for stocks under $10. We do also have this ticker alert here. This is going to show you any stocks that are making a new high or low on the day. That allows you to see what's moving. We do have the block trade filter, which allows you to see large prints go off and filter activity and see big executions and stocks. A lot of people like to see that. It allows you to see where money is going, what direction they're moving. And we also have the an additional scanner called LightScan. It looks like my demo is not enabled for it, but it is available as well by request. I'm sorry I don't have that one configured to send over for you at the moment here. But so there are some built-in scans, and of course you can build your watch list and sort and scan by the watch list as well. Okay, additional questions? Shaw had a question about the custom orders and the through amount. So if I do create a new command, and if I have a positive number, that means it's an aggressive number. So there is any positive number, I'm going to buy above the bid. If I do a sell, that's going to be selling below the bid. So even though it's not a negative number, it's going to be aggressive and sell below. If I did want to sell above the offer, this actually has to be a negative. So if I want to set a negative, a target as a passive, so this would be selling above ask, even though it's a negative number. And then the same thing, if I wanted to buy below the bid, that's actually going to be a negative number as well. So buy negative 5 cents below the bid. So there's a little bit of a reverse logic there. So I'll show you here. I'll add those two buttons. So you can see, even though I did a negative number, the bid is 50, it's going 5 cents below. Then if I want to sell above, sold 100 shares above, the offer was 51 cents. My order's going in at 56. A watch list is limited to a certain amount of symbols. Typically, it's 100 per watch list. You'd have to create more than one watch list. So you'd have to just create your own set of watch lists and then add whatever data columns you're looking for, and then sort by that category. So 500, Barry, would be a little too many in one watch list, but you can have more than one watch list and sort by that. To sort the risers and fallers. So the risers and fallers is always going to link to the active window. So if I have more than one level 2 window, whichever one is the highlighted active window, that's going to be the window that's linked to it. If I tab over back to BAC, now I click on the Boyle, that's the window that updates. If I click back to Amazon, now I click SEB, that's the one. So the risers and fallers is not going to link to a specific window. It's going to link to the active window. Same thing with your hot buttons. Your hot button is always going to link to your active window unless you specifically link it. So you can see I can have my SPG, buy 100 shares. I can tab over to Boyle and then buy 100 shares of that. So it all depends on which is the highlighted active window for that same hot button. If I wanted to, I could right click and link my hot button to a specific level 2 quote window if desired. So if I only want this to be for Boyle, even though I hit SPG, if I hit buy 100, it still goes in for Boyle. So you can make that linked if desired. Or link to focus would be the same as the other window, whichever is highlighted would be your active window. We do have a lot of videos on our website, but we do have our full archive on the YouTube channel. So if you guys do want to view additional videos, check out our YouTube videos. There are quite a few, and certainly anyone who's new to the software can request a demo and even request to schedule a personal demonstration with myself or another sales rep. You can certainly email sales@lightspeed.com or email me directly, rlifson@lightspeed.com, so you can go and get some assistance. We'd be happy to help. Helmut's asking if there's a buy last, sell first option. We do have a selection in the design menu for traditional or average. One would be the first in, first out, and one would be based on your average price that's adjusting. So if you do want to change your P&L settings, you can do it there. You can't drag symbols from one to another. You do just, everything is just clicking or typing in itself. So for anyone who is new, I strongly suggest you to request a demo as well. Please note we have a new account promotion. It is the 10K 2018. It's a 3-month special, up to 50% rebate on your commissions. So certainly look for that or contact us if you want more information on that. It's a great way to get half of your commissions back to you for your first 3 months for a new account. New accounts only, unfortunately. But if you do want to try a demo, lightspeed.com, upper right-hand corner, click on try a demo. Simply have to enter in your information and email, and we'll send you the installation and login, and you're able to go right in and do exactly what I'm doing here, playing around with every setting and tracking orders, positions, and P&L. It's a great way to learn the software and allow you to get started with Lightspeed. If you're on a chart, if I scroll, I can, with my mouse wheel, I can increase or decrease the area to view. If I want to zoom in on a specific area, if I right click and go to zoom, let's say I want to go to this certain time frame here, I can highlight a specific daily area. Same thing with a specific time area. So I have to right click, click zoom, left click, you can magnify that area. If I click this little arrow, that goes back to my normal time frame. Otherwise, you can increase your time frame if you want to increase your y-axis, or the scroll will increase your x-axis. So I know I rushed over a couple things and then I get a little sidetracked sometimes. There's just a lot of settings for the software, but that's what makes it so easy to customize. There's just a lot of ways you can configure the software, and even just the fonts, the colors, you're able to change as well. So let's just say I wanted to change some of the colors here. I can do so. That you can change the colors of the charts here, the style of the charts. So there's just a lot of ways to configure. If you want all white background, I want to change the color altogether, I can go to gray, I can go to black, whatever works for you. It's just very easy to customize. And you can change all the colors and fonts and sizes as well. You can see here on any window, you can change the size, the text, and the font, and the colors. The initial demo request would be a 2-week demo trial. Certainly, we're happy to assist you with a walkthrough. And if you need another 2-week trial, you can always request a new one from the website as well. So, we do allow more than one. So you can get a good couple weeks on the software, which is most people find is enough time to get comfortable and familiar and get you on your way. So that covers basically most of the functions that I want to go over. I wish we had more time. This was kind of general overview, but if you have certain questions, certainly feel free to email or call us. We'd be happy to help. I appreciate you guys taking the time to learn more about the platform and to ask questions and help me along here. If you are a non-US applicant, you would have to go and download our forms to complete. So we do have specific forms for international accounts. If you do want assistance with that, you can email me or us. You can just send it to sales@lightspeed.com, and I'll send you the application with a program to help you complete that application as well. But if you are a US-based account, you can use the online application. And guys, this presentation will be available on the website within a few days, but certainly feel free to look for our other ones, and you can contact us for additional assistance. So I thank you guys for showing up. Please look for additional webinars. We have some more scheduled in the next couple months. Certainly, guys, happy holidays, happy new year, and I hope to speak to everyone again, and let me know if I could help in any way. Thank you very much. Have a great night.